Welcome everyone to Barcelona for the final round of the 2020 Euroformula Open. A double-header to end the season. 4 races this weekend. 2 have already been completed. A champion and a vice-champion were crowned yesterday. The grid for race number 3 a little bit later today has been formed. Qualifying coming up now will form the grid for the very final race of the season. A slightly delayed start to qualifying here in Barcelona due to fog. The visibility a little bit tricky for drivers, so there has been a bit of a delayed start to the session, and that has also meant that this session will now run to the duration of 25 minutes rather than the full 30. You can see a few of the drivers have decided to go straight out and get themselves acquainted with the circuit, some deciding to hold fire. You can see about 6 or 7 drivers have decided to stay in pit lane for now. There is one of them, Nicholas Cruton, and with Quay crowning himself champion and Lucas Dunner crowning himself vice-champion, this man is going to be one of the main people we keep an eye on today. Nicholas Cruton in a fight for 3rd place in the championship. The way the system works, each driver will drop 3 of their lowest scores at the end of the season, i.e. the end of today. And after that, that will be the confirmed result in the championship. Now, after we do that, we have Andreas Essner on 152 points thanks to his podium yesterday, his 5th of the season. Nicholas Cruton also picked up his 5th podium. He is on 145 points once he drops his 3 lowest scores. Manuel Maldonado cannot be counted out either, with 25 points up for grabs for the winner. He's on 129 after drop scores. Ido Cohen on 110 points. But this is their final chance to go out, get wins, podiums, and potentially a season best as well, to carry some confidence going in towards the following season, whether they are back here or going on to do other things. My name's Chris McCarthy. Thank you very much for being with us on this 4th and final qualifying session of the season. Elliot Wood is going to be alongside me again today. Elliot, let's talk about yesterday then. We crowned a champion and a vice-champion, a big day for the championship, our 7th official champion, our first Chinese driver to win the championship, and the title staying in Asia.
Yeah, it was a great result for Quay, and 2 great races for the driver in front. There wasn't much overtaking behind him. It is a difficult track to overtake at, but we did see, drivers staying out of trouble and, like you said, getting confidence ahead of next season. Obviously, qualifying this morning is in very different conditions to yesterday. We've had fog roll in over the hills, a lot of warm air meeting cold air, kind of the water vapour just sticking around at this circuit. So the track is going to be very cold. Now, that's actually going to help with downforce levels. And potentially with the actual chemical grip of the tyres to the track. However, the track's also just going to be very slippy. So, drivers don't want to push too hard straight away, and that is why some of them are staying in the pits. They're going to let other drivers see what the condition of the track is like, measure how hard to push, and then probably go for the fastest laps towards the end of the session.
Now, in terms of qualifying, Quay has taken all 3 poles so far this weekend, and that gives him 12 for the season so far. Would be quite an astonishing achievement if he could go on and take all 4 in one weekend. That's Glenn Van Berlo. He had a good day yesterday, 2 6th places and his 2nd rookie win of the season, and he is in the top 10 of the championship, the only driver to score points in every race. But here is the aforementioned, our champion, Quay, looking to get a quadruple pole positions this weekend. Feeling confident, I'm sure, that he can go on and do that. Now, in terms of the race results yesterday, Quay won from Dunner and Cruton in race number 1. Cruton, the top rookie. Maloney, Maldonado, Van Berlo, Das, Foster, Andrade and Cohen were your top 10. And then as for race 2, it was Quay. Daz got his first podium. Essner got himself back on the podium. Maldonado up in 4th. Dunner, a bit of a disappointing 5th. Van Berlo 6th in top rookie. Then it was Cruton, Foster, Maloney and Sebastian Essner. Now for the first race coming up today, which is the 3rd of the weekend, it's going to be Quay and Sebastian Essner on the front row. Fantastic qualifying from young Sebastian. Lucas Dunner will be 3rd from Foster and Maldonado. So drivers are getting themselves up to speed now. Times are rolling in. Still a long way to go in this session though, just under 19 minutes.
Yeah, and our provisional pole man at the moment is Alexander Bardignon of Van Amersfoort Racing. He's got a 1 minute 37.598. First laps on track 1 minute 40, set by the two Carlin drivers. So lap times are already coming down pretty quickly. We were venturing into the 1 minute 35 territory yesterday. Ido Cohen has just set the fastest first and second sectors of anyone. So when he completes his lap, we're probably going to see another improvement of about a second. Glenn Van Berlo's just had his lap deleted, 1 minute 38.4. That has dropped him down to 9th place. As we follow Ido Cohen coming into the final chicane. Sorry, very clean through there. We did see a lot of people skating off yesterday with the amount of rubber left on the track by the GT racers here this weekend. As Cohen crosses the line, that is a 1 minute 36.919. So already into the 1 minute 36s. We have 17 minutes left of this session. His teammate goes 0.289 seconds behind that, Zay Maloney. Manuel Maldonado actually matches that time to go into 3rd place with the fastest final sector of anyone. And at the bottom of the order, we've seen this in the other qualifying sessions as well, is currently Yiffy and Niklas Cruton, and that is because they stayed in the garage a little longer than everyone else, while Louis Foster actually has only done 1 flying lap and is still in the pits.
Yep, it's really in the last 5 minutes that we really see things kicking off. Until then, it's almost a bit of a warm-up. Some drivers will go out and try and put some times in, but they'll slowly start winding it up, and then eventually they're going to really go for it. So let's talk about some of the other qualifying sessions. Yay, Dunner and Estner were your top 3 in Q1 with the fastest time of a 1:35.6. Yay, Das and Dunner in Q2, 1:36.1, and then the quickest time in a qualifying session so far this weekend has been a 1:35.2 in yesterday morning's qualifying. Let's see if we can get anywhere near that. 1:36.7 is the qualifying time so far. So we're still around a second away potentially from what we might see, at half a second at least, I'd say. We've got to take into account that it is colder this morning, though, as we see Ye come down the start-finish straight, and a 1:36.6 puts him at the top of the times. Maldonado is in the stadium section now, coming down towards the chicane on a good lap so far, 5th and 4th, so he's going in one direction so far this weekend. They'll be looking for a podium today, I'd say, at least, as he comes down towards the start-finish line now, and a 1:36.4 puts him at the top of the time. So Maldonado, Ye, Cohen, Andreas Estner, Dunner, Bardignon, Das, Rafael Villa-Gomez, and then Van Berlo and Cruton. 16 minutes left on the clock. Louis Foster now coming out of the pit, so let's see what the British driver can do.
And pretty much every driver is improving with every lap, so I think the track is getting a lot quicker by the minute. We've only got 15 minutes left, so that is about, with a 1 minute 36 lap, about 9 laps. Estner locked to break there going into turn 10. He is currently the fastest driver on track, fastest middle sector of anyone, personal best in the first sector because Maldonado's just beaten his first sector split. And as he comes down to the final few corners of this lap, I expect him to go on to provisional pole position.
Here he comes round the chicane. Andreas Estner now making his way up towards the final corner. Third in first qualifying for him yesterday, 4th and then a 7th, so he's had pretty good results so far, and he's going to go to the top, 1:36.019. That 7th for him was only because he made a mistake at the final corner and ruined 2 laps as well. Cruton's gone right up to 2nd place as he now starts to put in some lap times. We've got Maldonado quickest through the first sector. He's currently on your screens as he now makes his way down towards the chicane. This on what is his 5th flying lap now, out of the chicane and down towards the start-finish straight. A mistake there, though, for Maldonado. That's going to hurt him all the way around the final corner as he heads down the start-finish straight now. And what's he going to do? That mistake has cost him, and it's cost him from improving on his time.
Yeah, and Yiffy Ye during that time had just set the provisional pole position lap. He's broken into the 1 minute 35s with a 35.779. He's going even quicker in the first sector. And as he did that, Louis Foster has returned to the pits. Now, he only did an installation lap, and he's already being wheeled, it looks like possibly back in the garage. Team are already looking at the car as we follow Alexander Bardignon on track right now. He is currently in 10th place. Wasn't provisional pole earlier, but you know the track is getting quicker by the minute. So I think ideally you almost need to stay on track the whole session to make sure you're making the most of these gains in the conditions.
Matthias Luting goes past us and crosses the line one more time. A lot of drivers out there improving. Ido Cohen and Zay Maloney are both improving. Here's Yiffy Ye. Sebastian Estner goes up to 6th place. Yay making his way now through stadium section into the right-hander. Now downhill into the chicane. Very easy to make a mistake here, as proved by Maldonado just one lap ago, as he now comes out of the chicane and round the final corner. Yay only has himself to beat here, 135.7 as he comes up towards the line, and he's going to do that. 135.524 for Yifei Yay, and that brings his advantage up to half a second now, as Cameron Daz goes up to 5th. Was very quick in qualifying yesterday, got himself on the front row. Let's see if Cameron Daz can challenge for pole position once again today. But Yay, as he has been in the races, he's won by substantial gaps in the races, around 5 seconds in each race. He's proving almost impossible to keep up with as Maldonado pits.
Yeah, and we're at the midpoint of this slightly shorter session, so drivers will be ending their first runs. Yesterday we saw the people who elongated their first run benefited from that. They were going a lot quicker. However, that reduced the amount of time on track. They were time on track in their second run, which meant they got less out of those tyres, and ultimately that dropped them further down the order. So it's going to be interesting to see how strategy diverges today, because the track conditions are pretty different to what we saw in qualifying yesterday.
We're watching Andreas Essner. He's gone personal best through first sector. He's dropped quite a lot of time in the second one though, so I wouldn't be surprised if he pits. Cameron Daz is going quicker on this lap, but he's lost a little bit of time as well through the second sector. So I imagine that's drivers not happy with their laps and then backing off through the second sector. And here is the American, and I think you can tell that he's not going to go. I don't think he's going to complete this lap. He's coming into the pits, it seems, as he now comes downhill through the chicane. He goes, and I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls straight right. Yes, he does. So there we go. That's most drivers in the pits. I can see one of the cars, I think it's Ido Cohen, making his way downhill and into the chicane. He may also decide to come into the pits as well. And that will leave pretty much no drivers on circuit. I've seen Zane Maloney come in. The only one I can see out on track is Bardignon, and he might be on his way to pit lane as well. So that is first half complete. And your current order is Yay leads with a 135.524. The only driver in the 135s, Essner, Dunner, Cruton, Daz Maldonado, Sebastian Essner, Zane Maloney, Andrade Cohen, who's struggling for pace this weekend, unfortunately. See if he can turn it round in this one. Bardignon, Villa Gomez, Van Berlo, Luton, and Louis Foster, who has only done the 3 laps. As you said earlier, sort of done a further installation lap, came in. I don't know if we can see if his car is in visibility at all, but maybe it's a plan. We've seen this plenty of times. Drivers wait right to the end, particularly at Spa we saw it actually. Drivers leaving it pretty late before going out and then doing it all in one. Could be something to do with tyres as well. Yeah,
he is still in pit lane. We did see him in qualifying 1 this weekend. This is the final of our 4 qualifying sessions. He saved his tyres to use that set in a race, but put him down the order and they said probably won't use that strategy again. So I don't think that'll be the same reason here. However, you know, he is still in pit, so we can see him in the car now. It does look like he's going to be heading back on track. However, they've taken off the full rear end of that car and they are examining the engine area, so possibly not the most encouraging signs. We're getting a very close-up view from the camera guys here, so great job by them. Hopefully, there's only 9 minutes left this session, so got to be really quick on the work. There's Tom Dillman, former Formula 3 and GP2 racer and World Series Formula V8 3.5 champion at this very circuit. He's showing some data to Rui Andrade, probably lap times and corner deltas. I don't think Dillman has raced at this circuit in some time, but you know, he is an expert on Formula 3 cars.
I think he knows his way around. I actually commentated on him in the Le Mans virtual race, and they were incredibly quick in that race. Actually, brilliant race that was. There's Manuel Maldonado, and he's ending on a real positive end here, Maldonado, so far. He's got another day ahead. Here's a man that went well yesterday, Cameron Daz. First podium for him. Were you around the paddock at all much yesterday?
Yeah, very interesting onboard there. At very similar corners we saw at the start of this season, at like the Hungaroring and Paul Ricard. Very different approach to those, you know, tight turning apexes. We saw a lot more steering wheel movement, whereas a bit like as we're seeing with this slow motion replay, whereas the previous shot of the motorbike car, here's Yiffy, his steering's always very interesting to watch. It took a bit of curb there, so there was more feedback, but very clean through those final 2 corners. But possibly I think you have to be here because there's so much marbles offline. If you do try and get a little too much movement, your rear wheels, as we're seeing a little bit here with Alexander Bardignon, are going to slide into that less grippier area of the circuit and potentially cost you traction as you put the power down to go through into the final corner.
Did you head round the paddock much last night?
I did. I chatted to a lot of drivers.
Fire away.
They're all happy. Saturday night.
Let's speak about which kind of. Did you speak to Cruton?
Yeah, I think most. Well, actually, the most part drivers were convinced they need to do a new overtake of the year because after Spa-Francorchamps we had Maldonado doing one at Pouhon and one at La Source, and there was discussion among those guys that they need a new candidate overtake at this circuit because this is a harder circuit to overtake at, so it's going to be more worthy overtake if you do it here. I think a lot of drivers just commented on how hard it was to overtake.
Yeah.
They said they could get close to drivers, they could get within the slipstream, and even down the pit straight they were finding it hard to go offline on the less grippier side of the circuit and escape that slipstream and actually draw alongside, and then they just jumped back into the slipstream and did that lap after lap after lap. As we see Matthias Lufen in the second of Double R Racing's cars, plain black helmet, very sleek looking livery as well. This is his first race weekend where he's actually contesting the races. He's done a lot of free practice and testing in the Euroformula paddock this year. I think he does document his kind of Euroformula journey on YouTube, I believe. So you can follow what he's doing online, and it's a great journey for him so far. His pace this weekend has actually improved significantly. I think at the final free practice he was over 3 seconds back, but he's got closer and closer by every session. He's stuck with the pack through the first and the second race. Particularly the second race yesterday, I think potentially tyre life wasn't the best in the final few laps. But another 2 races today, that's a whole race weekend of experience in a single day he's going to get as well here. So great job by him so far. And same with Rafael Villagomez, who we're seeing now. That was good timing from the camera man there. It's his debut weekend as well. He's been racing in Formula 4 this year in France and in Britain. He was actually in the Euroformula paddock last time out in the Sporting French F4 series. I think he did 1 test day in this car prior to this weekend, so he hasn't got much mileage here either, but he's done a very impressive job, kept himself out of trouble, and I expect him to move up to Euroformula next year after seeing his pace at this circuit as well in other Formula 3 level machinery.
Well, this is the best way to do that because I take Cruton as an example to that. He did the last 3 rounds last season, and we look how impressive he was. Once we got to Red Bull Ring, he was on the podium, and then he got a further 3 at Monza, and then he was back on the podium again yesterday. But over Red Bull Ring, Monza, Mugello, hugely consistent. His worst result over Monza and Mugello was 4th. So those 3 rounds, I think, helped him get up to speed quickly. Now he's in a fight for 3rd in the championship, which I think if you look at the experience levels of all the drivers, that's the best I'd say he could have done. I'd say he's exceeded probably his own expectations. So a good thing to do here for Villagomez, and to do it in the double header as well. But we are now back underway, I think it's fair to say. 5 minutes left. They're going to get around 3 laps, maybe 4. And then we'll know who's going to be on pole for the very last race of the season, which is going to take place at 5 minutes to 4 later this afternoon. Race number 3 will be at 12:30 local time, so do make sure you tune in for that, the grid for that set. But 4.5 minutes to decide the grid for the final race of the season.
And we've already got one driver who is improving. Zane Maloney currently drives a Carlin. 1st and 2nd sectors are personal best for him. He is coming round to the top of the circuit, turn 10, so he's just coming now along to the downhill section into the chicane. Very strong entry there. The cameras have picked it up. Great job by the camera team at this circuit. He comes through the final chicane. He's going to go through the final corner, full throttle all the way to the finish line. It's quite an early finish line on this very long pit straight here. He crosses the line and sets a 1:35.953 straight into 2nd place, and a brilliant final sector time of 31.242 as well. So that is unmatched by anyone so far. And he's still admittedly 4 tenths off Yiffy, but it's a great place to start on his second run.
And it's potentially a sign that we could see a lot of people improving as well, not to take anything away from that lap. But Ido Cohen is also improving out there as well, as he didn't improve, had a poor final sector, but may have hit some traffic, as he's now going to wind himself up for another lap. We've still got just under 3.5 minutes left in this lap as we look back at Zane Maloney, who's improving once again. So this is good stuff from Zane Maloney, looking to get himself in a position to end the season on a high as he comes through turn 7, now through 8, up towards the very quick turn number 9. Improving through the first sector. Let's see what the second sector can do as he now comes downhill. Hasn't got any traffic ahead of him, so he'll have another clear lap here as he hits the brakes down through turn 10, and it's another personal best. He has 4.5 tenths to close in on Yefeye and take pole position. Round the long right-hander now at the top of the circuit, through turn 12, back uphill, up towards turn 13. Hit the brakes now, downhill in towards the chicane. Sebastian Esner is improving as well. He's on the front row for race number 3 later on. Zane Maloney, though, that was inch perfect out of the chicane, and he now comes round the final corner. Where's this going to put him? Is he going to keep him on the front row? Is he going to move to the inside of it? It's a 1:35.831. Sebastian Esner will be next. He now comes round the final corner and up towards the start-finish line from one rookie to another. What can Sebastian Esner do? He goes to pole, 1:35.470 for Sebastian Esner, and that provisional pole position.
And I think a shout out here to Double R Racing, who I believe have got Louis Foster back on track at the moment. He's just set personal best in the first, second sector. Ido Cohen's just gone up to 3rd place as well, and Andrade up to 8th. Titus Luton across the line. We need to see where Foster is on track, because there was a lot of work being done to the rear of that car.
He's up at turn number 13,
so
just up there.
Interesting to see if they've changed tyres as well. Here's Yefeye, who's set the fastest middle sector of anyone. He's potentially going to take back provisional pole position here, and he does. A 1:35.347, a 10th up. Sebastian Esner, Maldonado and Andreas Esner are 2 to watch as well. We're following Maldonado right now. He set the fastest first sector of anyone. Been improved on in the second sector, but I expect this would also be a provisional pole lap.
Right, here he comes, downhill. Manuel Maldonado looking for that extra bit. He's been 5th, he's been 4th, needs to get that just extra little bit to potentially challenge for a win. Here he comes round the final corner. Maldonado up towards the start-finish line. Can he go to pole position? Yes, he can. 1:35.273, and that is just 600ths of the fastest time we have seen in a qualifying session this weekend. And with that time, he has given himself a very, very good chance of a front row start, but it could be a good end to the season for Carlin, because they've got Ido Cohen going quickest on circuit. Oh, a little bit loose as he came through turn number 13, but manages to get it back together as he comes through the chicane out of the now final corner. Ido Cohen, fastest first sector, fastest second sector. Has that small mistake cost him though as he comes up to the line? It has. 1:35.643. A couple of small mistakes in that last sector sadly costing him, and Lucas Dunner goes second. Here's a replay.
And that is full opposite lock there coming out of that corner.
Too much speed taken through, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's because it's off camber and it goes downhill as well, so the apex isn't where you'd expect it to be. Maldonado is improving once again, and Rui Andrade up. Alexander Barnion up to 8th place. Louis Foster has improved. He's still in 15th, but great job there. Yefeye flying final sector, 31.037. He takes provisional pole. Cameron Dasser first to meet the checker flag. He goes 4th fastest, 4 tenths behind Ye. Next up is Louis Foster. He jumps up to 12th with his latest time. Andreas Esner improves in 4th place as well. We're still following Ido Cohen, who isn't actually improving on this lap, and the 2 drivers who are Maldonado and Niklas Cruton, who is down in 8th place at the moment.
Let's see where they can get to then. Lucas Dunner is also improving. He's trying to challenge for pole position. If he can get there, it will be his 5th of the season. As we hit the brakes downhill, we've had Maldonado come across the line. He will go no higher than second, but is his front row position about to be taken away from him from Lucas Dunner? And is it going to be a Crypto Tower Racing Team 1-2 once again this weekend? Lucas Dunner rounds turn number 12, makes his way back uphill. Yefeye is improving. Sebastian Esner is also improving as well. Sebastian Esner goes to 5th, dropping Cameron Daz to the outside of row number 3, as out of the final corner comes Lucas Dunner. up towards the start-finish line. Is this going to be good enough to join his teammate on the front row, or will it be a front row start for Maldonado? It isn't good enough. 1:35.453, and that looks like Maldonado will be on the front row. We're still waiting to see Nicholas Cruton and Alexandre Bardignon and Yifei himself. Cruton crosses the line with no improvement. Bardignon likewise, and Ye can only beat himself. So Ye is going to be on pole position. It's going to be all 4 pole positions in the final weekend of the season, and he will start the final race of the Euroformula Open 2020 from the very front of the grid. Manuel Maldonado, though, he will start alongside him in second place, and that is his best qualifying of the season. Fantastic result from him. The Venezuelan driver a chance to fight for the win going in towards the first corner on lap number 1 of race 4. Dunner third, Andreas Essner fourth, Sebastian Essner fifth place. The two brothers with each other on rows 2 and 3. Cameron Daz on the outside of row 3. Ido Cohen 7th, Nicholas Cruton 8th, Zay Maloney 9th. Alexandre Bardignon, a good qualifying performance from him. He completes the top 10. And outside of the top 10, Rui Andrade, Louis Foster with problems in that session, Glenn Van Berlo 13th, Rafael Villagomez in 14th place, and Matthias Luton completes the field. Well, there's Ye. We don't sound surprised anymore, and that's because he's had 13 of those now, 4 in this weekend alone. A dominant champion, already the champion, but that doesn't mean he's going to take his foot off the gas at all, when he will start from the head of the field.
Yeah, and I think that, well, it isn't the first time this season we've seen Ye be the last across the line before the checkered flag comes out, and then have the option of, if he doesn't improve, he can just pit because he's already on provisional pole, or he's got the best track conditions of anyone because he's the very last person to set the final flying lap. Fist bump with someone off screen there. Here's a slow motion of Lucas Dunner, who will be lining up third for the final race of the season. We've obviously got another race prior to that as well. So 2 races today, a full race weekend of action, all crammed into a Sunday. And I think we're about to go down to interview with our new poleman in a few moments' time. Yep,
here is your pole sitter. Race number 4, Yifei will start from the head of the field. He's just set the quickest time of the weekend. Let's go and hear from the Chinese driver now.
Yifei, I guess you're more relaxed today.
Yeah, I have been relaxed the whole weekend, actually, especially after yesterday's title. So, yeah, no pressure going to the qualifying this morning. We had a huge gap on the first set of tires. On the second set, others came closer, but yeah, we still managed to get the pole, which is very good for us. So, yeah, 2 more races to go this afternoon, and full focus on those 2.
Well, enjoy the day then.
Thank you.
First day as a champion.
Thank you.
The grid is set. The final race of the season will take place at 5 minutes to 4 local time, but race number 3 will start at 12:30. We'll see you then. Well, after the race of the season yesterday, we are back on track for International GT Open, and we are about to set the grid for the season finale and the showdown in the fight for the title. Both the Pro and the Pro-Am title yet to be decided, and particularly in the Pro class, it is all to play for. It was elbows out yesterday. What a fantastic race it was. And now we are about to set the grid for the race that will decide who is going to be the 15th champion in International GT Open. My name's Chris McCarthy. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. Just under 29 minutes now as the clock has started to roll to set the grid for that final race of the season. And I do laugh because that race yesterday